Check, 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 check. Okay, there we go. What's up? What's up? Guys, remember day trading, of course, is risky business. Risky business indeed for those of you tuning in on YouTube. So, what penny stock do we have moving today? What penny stock do we have moving today? So, looking at the watch list here, let's come off of this screen. Looking at the top gap scanner, the top scan. Our leading stock here is at $52. Next down is AMIX, which seems to be our penny stock. It looks decent. Looking good, looking okay. We're very close to the pre-market highs, which I like to see. This is definitely looking like we can have a shot at uptrending here. Daily chart. The daily chart looks okay. Although we've had some topping candlesticks. Although at 243, so that does give us a little bit of room, at least if it does decide to continue here today at 119. Yeah, this one looks pretty decent. I like the uptrend here so far heading into the open. And if we can break over 130 at the highs, it definitely starts to look very good. Not bad. Not bad. By the way, I'll come down to single screen just so we get to see more of the chart here. Or maybe I can pull it over a little bit. Okay, yeah, that works. So AMIX is my top stock here. SGML, which is next down on the list. SGML. This one actually looked like it had a decent pre-market move. I didn't trade pre-market today. You know, Friday was so slow. This one looks like it gave a decent move. This is a nice pullback here at like 820. Slightly up, slightly above the VWAP, and then a nice red to green there. This one looks like it was pretty decent. Yeah, the pullback held up. And that was between 8 and 8:30. Nice. But right now it looks like backside. Looks like the short sellers, you know, we had that one last hurrah at VWAP for SGML, and then that was it. So doesn't look the best now. I'm looking at it on my other screen. Oh, I'm gonna check out one more OGTL. The gap scan isn't too impressive today because, you know, most of the stocks are like lower percentage move. CGTL, CGTL. CGTL a little cheaper, around 90 cents. Might be the second string, although it doesn't really look like much. Um, SF, what you have to do, so the way how we have it set up is you can decide who you want to listen to. So you can like mute me or Marcelo depending on, like, you know, whose voice you want to hear. That's kind of how we have it set. I initially was telling Marcelo, let's like do separate chats and then like you guys just join whichever chat you want to join, but we ended up deciding on like doing the same chat, and then, you know, I think it works pretty good this way as well. Time, there's about 3 minutes. So what I really want to do is just start my screen recording post this watch list to the alert section, and I'm pretty much ready to go. And I'm ready like Freddy. For those of you tuning in on YouTube, as you're tuning in, be sure to hit the thumbs up. All right, once we start up our screen recording here, we're ready to go. So a couple of key pointers for myself as I'm coming into the open is to remember on the front side to be aggressive, be firm, be confident, take all those good setups. We really have to not let a good setup go and pass us by, right? That's going to be key. On top of that, on the pullbacks, come on, AMIX. Yeah, on the pullbacks, we got to be careful to, in terms of scaling in one, we have to keep in mind our key levels, an indicator such as VWAP, of course. But in terms of scaling in, we have to make sure to determine a total size relative to, our stop loss, and that along with also spreading out the trades as we're getting in. That way we're not in too high in the support zone. But I do want to be a little bit more aggressive today. I think so far so good here with the new platform and also holding a little longer. So I was thinking about how I can be a little bit better, and I think some of that is going to include some more size and then scaling in and out on the moves going up, taking profit slowly. We got a couple seconds to the open. AMIX currently at 118. Pre-market highs are at 120, 130. There's a couple cents to start. Can we continue to hold up this level here at 20? It's early. There's 18. I'm watching with tight stops just to see if we can hold this bull flag here coming into the open. This is where we can definitely see a potential move to the pre-market highs. We got 27 right there. If not, though, really tight stop for me. Oh my God, that was a great trade. It's halting up at 37. That was also something I had to remind myself of, although it was mental. Pay more attention right into the open. 42, the new halt level. You see what that position there did for me, right? Like I added. So I was able to hold the other half all the way into the halt up rather than selling the entire thing for the 5 cents. Massive difference. Right now, just waiting. It's pretty extended off that move. I don't want to be too aggressive here chasing it just in case it tanks and flushes out big, but watching for any tighter action here. So far, it's very aggressive, still holding up really high. Taking a starter there. Although I'd like lower, we might not get lower. I'll take the couple cents. Back at 40. I do want to hold the longer position here, but it depends on how we move. I definitely will try to high because we're not really dipping, so it might just keep going. Although a false breakout is definitely the risk of losing a couple cents buying at 40 here, 42 even. So if we go over 42, can we see the new halt level, which is right beneath 50? That's not what I want to see. That's 42 and back down. Time. 42 again and back down. 42 again. That's the third time hitting 42 and not pushing through. There's a new candlestick on the bigger time frame. I might size down. Well, let's see. I think if it pulls back, I'll size down. It's definitely looking interesting. Oh my god. No, it did not. I'm chasing it. Oh my gosh. I got filled 46. Oh my gosh, bro. Come on. I'm gonna take a loss in that position. Come on. What's the halt level? 50 something? 55 or so? Holding that was kind of tough because I got such a bad fill. Big loss. Big loss. It's a little sluggish over the new high, which is strange. Seems like there's a lot of selling here. I sold early, only a couple cents. What is good is that we're holding above the level that we just had resistance, but we're not really moving up. So it's kind of in like a stalemate. And it's coming down. I'm gonna give it a sec. What? Oh gosh, it halted down? Oh my gosh. Oh man, wow. That's disappointing. I took two losses there, which, it's gonna kind of take away some of those gains that I had. I took 4,500 shares at 45, 44 when it got back over 42 the first time, and I got filled 46. I'm out at like 43. It's a pretty, not so good trade there, but okay, what else is moving? SGBX and others. The other watch list stocks are not looking that good. CGTL perhaps. The resumption trade on Friday after sell off was okay. Oh my god. Wow. What a terrible trade. Oh my goodness. Well, that'll put me flat on the day on CGTL. Ah, that is frustrating, man. I just gave back like 400. I mean, the setup looks good, but it's right back down. I was looking at SGBX and then CGTL looked all right for a potential red to green over 95 cents. Long 95, out at 91. 5,000 shares. Brutal. 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 Bro, and that's small size. Like, it's insane. I should have went in 2,000 shares. This resumption, by the way, will resume AMIX. Whilst we don't love this big sell-off, we've pulled back into the pre-market highs. The VWAP is currently at 20. We might Christmas tree all the way down, but there's a chance, of course, we can bounce out of the resumption. It is showing 20, which is the VWAP. Is it worth the risk? We had the resumption on Friday or Thursday that did hold up after the big drop down in terms of like giving a bounce. Man, wow. 8 good trades, one losing trade, and gets cooked. GLMD, how are we looking? Resumption is in 44 seconds. CMCT, there's a bunch of other ones hitting the scans. AMIX watching here. We might resume lower is what it's looking like. 20 seconds. Not bad, I suppose. 3 cents. Although I didn't take the trade. $32. Is it sneaking back up? Hmm. I think it might still be too early to say, but it looks interesting. Bruh. Brother. Wow. Wow. Alright, I've underestimated it, that's for sure. It's halting back up. Holy smokes. I don't know, I'm gonna be honest, I kinda thought it was gonna be done, you know? It's right back up. I gotta pay more attention because I'm like looking to my other screen here a lot. 22 to 43. Now, what I don't want is to be trading a pullback here if it's going to be dropping, so I'm going to be careful. Bit of a false breakout there. It just seems so hard to trade here, being that I missed the move from 22. So kind of watching and waiting. It does seem a little extended, but maybe it keeps going. The halt is at 50 again. I'm interested in the pullback. However, we can pull back down to 20 and halt down. So, it's kind of a risky area. So I'm thinking maybe even to be a little bit more patient on the dip. If it does come, maybe wait more so for a curl back up, buying a little higher. 43. Does it has what it takes for 50 right here, right now? I could attempt to break out if it looks good enough, but I think this is definitely high risk for the false break. Hmm. Yeah, far that doesn't look good. They had been in at 45, out at 41. It's not good. Not worth the trade there. So I'll just keep waiting. I'm only looking at one setup right now. Not trying to buy the falling knife either, so I'm just gonna keep waiting. I need something obvious. And in the haul down, I'm saying we did hold up on Thursday, Friday, to give the bounce. But in the context of bounce, expecting a couple cents bounce, not high of day. So far, so good. Just watching and waiting. Interesting. It didn't pull back too low there, which is, I guess it's hard to gauge where we're gonna dip. Oh, jeez, I got the wrong freaking stock again. Shit. Um, or I better not miss a nice move here. AMIX. Seems like it's struggling though into this new candle. Red to green was pretty strong that last dip. We didn't really linger low. We, right, it's right back up to 40 after hitting 31 or so. Didn't really get a proper chance to get in. It's kind of dicey. This damn stock, bro. It's just, bro. I saw, oh man, like this is unbelievable. I looked to the side again. I see 40. I come back. There's 55. Unbelievable. I wouldn't have been in though. That's fine. I already tried one of the breakouts and it's back down. Jeez, freaking thing, bro. My scanners are on. Holy smokes. I'm sorry. Damn, that's crazy. Scanners are in the way. Well, we're green 150 only after like a $600 start, so. And this is the second big move we've missed. We gotta hunker down and prepare for more battle. It still seems strong, being that we didn't sell off all the way into the halt down. Jeez Louise, man. 133. Yeah, if that message didn't come through in the chat room, I wasn't gonna notice that. Like way too locked into the charts here. I don't know. It looks kind of weak, man. I think it looks kind of weak. It might be done. It's hard to tell for sure, but this isn't what we want to see. Short sellers are in control. I gotta calm down. Green is good. Green is good. Green is good. I can pull my P&L here. Slow and steady. The false halt down. Not bad. I'm interested in the 5 minute candlestick to make the new high. The false halt down wasn't a bad trade, but not really in on that. So I'll watch the 5 minute candlestick to make a new high if it comes. If not, no trades. I still think short sellers are in control. And so I'm only waiting for the 5 minute candlestick to make the new high. But definitely trying to, still working on forcing myself to hold longer, be more patient in the trades, and not be too scalpy. The halt down is at 17. I'm definitely going to start going short starting tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to just take a couple shares. Why not? Take a couple shares, and if it breaks over 41, then I can stop out. But I'll have to be quick to. I want to be short here, like in this candlestick. Have to be quick to recognize the level, and take the trade with a stop above, slightly above that level, and just look for the move down. Even VWAP is not a bad cover for a scalp, but maybe it keeps going down lower if it really breaks down. Bearish engulfing. Yeah, I think unless this gets over 40, it's done. It is finito. That gives me a very obvious entry, but we'll get there. Will the VWAP save us here and give us a bottom? I find these trades, I don't know, I find these trades with the bottoming wicks harder to take now than before. Normally when, we're getting this, like, it's really good, but kind of happened here too. At 32, I missed this one. I just, just kind of couldn't really react to getting in. And then we didn't really continue. KXIN, not too sure about. We'll see if it makes a new high here and keeps going. Well, we see more out of KXIN. I have it on my other screen here. This damn foot pedal, bro. The halt is at 43 on the other one, which isn't that good. It's kind of close. Short sellers in control. Bro, I'm gonna start going short every day because there's just too much to make. Actually, there's a new candlestick here. I gotta be careful. I forgot the scanner's on all morning, so there was that. There's good volume, but we're not quite pushing through. Push, push, push. Can we see 56? Seems like there's a hidden seller. Fifty-four six. KXIN. It's like it doesn't want to push through. Who's the seller here? Somebody is selling. Probably like 1 million shares. We must have bought up at least 500,000 shares if I had to guess. But nobody would be going short that aggressively. It has to be somebody taking profits. Unless I'm missing something on the daily chart. Let's see. KXIN. I mean, we're kind of sold off a bit on the daily chart, but nothing to really go short that aggressively. Bag holders? Maybe. Shit, man. Why did I hesitate? Why? I got a freaking cent higher fill. Fucking hell, bro. Well, that'll surely put me flat on the day. This day is turning into nothingness. Plus 700 to freaking flat. I think this might be my cue. Bro, these breakouts are just so freaking trash, bro. We break over that flat top and nothing. So it's 5 cent drop. And then I took long to get that 1 cent higher fill, looking for 60. Just not a good trade. Man. Mm-mm-mm. Well, I'll take my $92 here. I'll take my $92 and run, because I've just been losing. Not to mention we missed a few of the bigger candlesticks on the other stock. At this rate, we're only going to go red. So before we get to red, we gotta just cut it off. I haven't been this like I'm thinking about the potential of the day and where I'm at. I haven't like been this frustrated in a while. And we started off flawlessly too, like 5 for 5 or something. From that resumption, we let our guard down, and like from there, it was just like downhill. From that first halt down on the first stock, AMIX, we missed that entire red to green and just couldn't really get a good bearings. A little too much looking away too. Like I'm doing stuff in the broker and not actually looking at the candlesticks at some points. So there were two areas where the stock went up 15 cents. Maybe if I was paying more attention, I could have seen some big volume to say, hey, let's jump in. Something to give me some sort of advantage in that area. But looking away like some fool. So I'll take the $92. Smile. It's not that much, but at least the green day is better than nothing. Ay, ay, ay. We've had two red days since on this account, which, slow and steady. Today we tried to, we didn't really use size, but, we needed to use some more size earlier, but the small size is good to get us where we need to be in terms of being in the driver's seat. But, we kind of lost our advantage on the stock, I'd say. We went from being on the offensive to being on the defensive, and when that happens, there's no way I can size up. So, but if I'm able to hit those red to greens with size on AMIX, this is where the day would have been something good, right? 2K, 3K, V-shape red to green down here, and then putting myself in position for this breakout, which came over 45 or so. That ended up going to 55. So missing those two bigger moves and then missing the halt down. No short trades in this area. Over 40 is the only place I'm interested in this one, and it seems like short sellers just have their claws gouged in pretty deeply, so it might not even get up anywhere close to shake people out and attempt a red to green there. So this thing will update soon enough, but gotta hit the front side harder, stay more locked in. This was a good day, though, all things considered. We just kind of had some issues. But in terms of execution on our trades, holding a little longer, we're still forcing ourselves to try to not be in and out as much, just so we can be a little bit more efficient with the range, efficient with the scalping, and slow and steady, slow and steady. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. Slow and steady. The good news is we have, I'm going to be here till I'm like 96, so one day at a time. Slowly, steadily. The name of the game has always been progress. So as long as we can continue to make small strides in the right direction, over time it'll continue to compound and we'll be back at a place where we're more refined, you know, slowly and steadily. I have some stuff like on the outside going on, like meeting wise. There's another one today, sadly, and it's for good reasons, but sadly that we're not able to stay in front of the screens, right? But I could stick around maybe till like 11:30, 11:50 to see if something else hits the scans. But as mentioned, we gave back so much of the day's gains that and with 2,000 shares, we got up to $600, which is pretty impressive for the most part. If this is like like peak, last year, we wouldn't even be using 2,000. See, this is also a difference with the trading, right? Like I'd probably be using like 5 to 10 to 15,000 share blocks, and so that 600 becomes like 4,000 or something. And you know, typically, if you are sizing down, which we should be sizing down at some point, you're at least able to walk away with something. Let's say 1,500. It would have been a terrible day in the sense of, hey, we gave back a lot, but that's where like the position size can like make a small difference. $90 becomes 1,500 on like a day where you gave back. GLMD. 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 Well, this market is just so like the market itself right now is just this is it's very very slow. We're grateful that AMIX gave a move, but if we're to be honest, for the standard of the open that we know, this in itself is like, if we're to give it a grade, this is like like a D, a D, a D minus compared to like normal strong open that we know. There would already be something else flying, GLMD, is this just gonna wick down? We had that massive red candle. When one stock dies, another stock would start instantly, or in fact, there's already another stock moving. That was, you could have been trading if you wanted to trade something maybe higher price or XYZ. So GLMD, is this going to become something? If it's able to hold over 55, I'd be interested. But small size first to make sure it doesn't just, catastrophic drop down to 120. We had more volume going up last time than we do this time. Like people are probably going short right here, just like, hey, let's see, It needs to break 55, hold 55. That's the only way I'm getting involved. I'm going mad in this slow market. I need to stop talking like this. I'm really not going mad. I'm just, like moments like this where it's downtime, I kind of just feel like where's the momentum? It's not that I'm going mad by any means. In fact, I feel very cool, calm, and collected. No need to throw a tantrum. you know, not like there's a couple hundred people watching. GLMD after that nasty move down where long traders got baited into buying the breakout. That one is on my no trade list the rest of the day. The daily chart wasn't really much anyways, so I took two of those losses, by the way, two of those bigger 5% losses on a cheaper stock. No trades for Ross today. No trades for Ross. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there was a setup on or two on that last stock, right? Pre-market charts seems like they were good. I didn't trade pre-market, but we had one of those stocks. I think I'm forgetting the name. It was in the watch list. SGML looks like pre-market was decent. Surprised. You guys know Ross have those quick and clean trades, so boom, boom, boom. Nice 10K on a slower day. There is a flag here on this GLMD, but as mentioned, I really would love to see over 50. Was it 55? It's like once the obvious stock dies out, which was AMIX, there's like everything else kind of seems so. It's hard to let's say it's hard to trust. And when you do see a good setup and it doesn't work, it's like that much worse. How many people do we have here? Time, it's 10:30. We have just shy of 400 people. Guys, be sure to hit the thumbs up. Maybe tomorrow I come in and do some pre-market trading at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. rather. Hit the thumbs up if you're newer to the channel. Just remember that day trading is risky. Do not trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. It's not the place to need to pay your mortgage and or your rent and say, hey, I'm going to come and make 2K, 3K, 5K. to pay the bills in the next 5 days. It's not the place for that type of stuff, but instead, it's the place for patience. It's a marathon. You got to pace yourself, position yourself. Slowest is the fastest way, and you got to enjoy the process over the profits. The process is what will lead to profits. If you put profits first, then you're not going to have the integrity needed to follow your rules in the tougher times, and you will collapse, implode. But for those looking to endure, and for those looking to take it one step at a time, one day at a time, the markets are here. It's not easy. It never was. It never will be. But it's doable. Which is why I'm here every day. Some of you guys who've been here for a while, you've seen me make over, $10,000, $20,000 in a day, in just hours, and sometimes even minutes, in a madness of momentum. These same stocks like this one, this exact same move here is enough for me to be up 5,000 when I'm in a better place with myself mentally and I continue to work on execution. The same exact move. Just wait and see, right? Just wait and see. I guarantee it. It's only a matter of time. Because I can already see it mentally, If I wasn't seeing it, then, it just should have been, hey, drawing board, just, day by day. But we already see it. It's just a matter of continuing to make improvements and adjustments. Size is also going to be a part of that eventually, right? Size doesn't matter here in the markets, right? On the contrary of what people might say. So I'd say like I'm not promoting like my classes as much as I could because obviously I want to make sure that the strategy is in a place where it's just so refined, And so there's some adjustments. But I don't care what nobody says but when I'm where I need to be, I'm gonna do it again. Like this, it's not gonna stop for me, right? Some people will call me a madman, but it's not gonna matter because I can do this every day, all day. I have all day, every time. So we'll be in a place again where I'm showing everybody how to make tens of thousands of dollars every day. It's just a matter of time. Then I'll promote the course more aggressively. But right now, as I'm making the adjustments for the strategy, it's like okay, but the day is coming again soon where MMU will be the top dog once again. Right now, we're kind of not going as crazy because we have to make obvious adjustments, right? And then I think I'll even like put out like a new name, right? Because hyper scalping, whilst it can still work, it's a little bit more tricky. You can even get banned on some platforms. So I'll think of a new name, and when the time is right, and our community has tripled in size once again because we're just that good, we're gonna even put out a new name. And then watch what's gonna happen, right? We're gonna put out this name for the new strategy with the alterations, and you're gonna see everybody in the whole trading space are gonna start using it. Some people are gonna hear me say that and gonna be like, "This guy is just mad." But I'm telling you guys, I can already see it. I can see it so vividly, so clearly. It's just gonna be interesting to see what happens then, and in terms of like like what's gonna happen then. But I'm so confident because the market is going to be the market and there's just going to be opportunities no matter what. You know, unless I get banned from every single broker or something, like there's just gonna be more opportunities. Like the market is gonna go up and down, and that'll have the ability to, you know, that'll offer us the ability to take trades, small caps, mid caps, large caps, long, short, candlesticks are candlesticks at the end of the day. As you guys can see, once again, I'm the most real trader that there is. I don't think I'm swimming against the current at all. The current is just the current, and we just have to fall in line. You know, there's a saying that I used to say all the time, which is that the market is bigger than any one of us. You know, individually, even collectively, if you want to say that, right? And it's why people drown is that we cannot consume or drink all the water in the ocean. You know, our lungs cannot sustain that type of, you know, volume. And so what you do to be good is you get with the program, whatever that program may be, right? In terms of strategies, there's a bunch of strategies that work. In fact, we've been 100% accurate with our swing trading strategy. You know, like there's like a bunch of things. There's a bunch of like things that work, and so it's a matter of just falling in line with something that works and just keep going. Things change, right? Nothing ever stays the same. Change is constant in life, and so we must embrace that change. We don't ask for things to be easier. We demand ourselves to be more skillful. You know, it's just that simple. So no matter what the occasion is, we rise to the occasion and we just get better. Is that simple. So at the you know, a little bit closer towards the finish line of us improving, you know, the results will show. For those of you who will be here, you know, for months and years to come, you know, it'll be like clockwork. We don't give ourselves, you know, like this. What I've realized about being successful is that it really isn't that hard to be successful. It's not. It's just work. It's just work every day. Is all it really is. You know, but you can't work aimlessly. You have to have a plan, and you have to be around people that are also doing what you want to do to be able to be in the place you need to be. But that's what all this is. So it's like we could do it over and over and over, even in different sectors, right? Like I'm very certain I could start a business in a whole new sector and still have success. Like, you know, I can start doing a whole different business tomorrow because all the structural things are the same of what you need to do to be in that position, in that place. So, you know, even for people who are newer to the channel or who might be starting a new venture, whether it's trading or something else, you know, it's all about having that business plan and performing at your highest level, not taking the shortcuts and pushing yourselves into that place where you feel uncomfortable to learn new things and you know, challenge yourself in different ways. If I know holding longer is what I need to do to be a successful trader, you know, like it's just a matter of time, right? So you can't allow yourself to be your biggest hindrance. If you are, then you know it's a tougher process. It can take longer. Sometimes we can have ego, pride, stubbornness, but if we're able to move all that out of the way and make ourselves vulnerable, to learning and, you know, becoming that better version of ourselves, then it is there for the taking. But, sometimes we have to surrender ourselves, right? In terms of like pride and things like that. Like I can't show up here, and I've done this before, right? On certain days, like, hey, I'm RT, and what I used to do doesn't work in this market, but I'm still gonna do it anyways and make money. And then it's about the big red day. Like, how silly is that, right? When the if you want to call it the current or the tide, to go back to that example, is singing a very particular song and telling you exactly what you need to do to be successful, it's best to sing that melody, right? And not sing your own or what was the previous melody. You sing the new song and fall right in line. Nothing more, nothing less. Day by day, day by day. Day by day. We got a lot of people who are short in the chat room and a couple stocks. So GLMD never got over 150, and it pulled back. AMIX over 30 does look a little interesting, but I think even then we'll still be in the short sellers territory and will be more prone for a false breakout. They're in control, so I think closer to like 40 is where it becomes more threatening for people to cover positions who are holding for the entire day washout, because there's people they're not going to look to cover till this thing goes back down to 90, 80 cents, which most of these stocks do go back down to those levels. So there's still a good amount of people short, and if it gets too close to their average, they're going to say, you know what, let's cut this thing, and then we get more of a squeeze, and the bulls can take control on the pullbacks, and we get that follow through on the move going up. And on the days where these stocks like this do get over the highs and then eventually break down right away, those days are even more tough because, under the norm of what we expect, it's kind of like doing its own thing. Does it have what it takes here? Bro, if that's true, if that's like a true tracker, that's insane. Going psycho. For those of you who might have played in the chat room, if you might have played Grand Theft Auto, there was this thing that would say you're going psycho once you're too crazy in the lobby. Going mad. Yeah, it's why I kind of have to catch myself a little bit. I mean, I'll try to work on that too, right? Like me saying I'm going mad, it's a reflection of like the short term, and like it really draws back to how things played out in terms of, let's say, performance and other variables, right? So what it really tells me is that I need to be even more consistent, right? Be more consistent, be more present, be more on time, because what happens is when you are, certain things just get eliminated naturally, right? Like I was messing around in the broker there, which honestly we shouldn't be doing that at all. So the stock was in a place where I thought it was a little weaker and we were not going to see a lot more out of it. I look over and then I look back and the stock is pretty much back at the highs, right? But instead, we got to make sure to give it our full undivided attention. That way, we can always see a spark, see an entry. So, what I'm saying, I'm going mad, is in reference to that, right? Like, it's as simple as if I was watching it the freaking move, I could have potentially caught it and not be on the sidelines. And I say, man, I'm going to go mad. It's that simple, it's like not anything like real or severe, let's say, but to solve that, we need to be a little bit more consistent with ourselves, right? Because it's not really luck at all. Like there is no luck really, right? Luck doesn't really exist. It's more positioning, right? And putting yourself in all the right circumstances by being disciplined and consistent, which will then lead to you, quote unquote, being lucky because you're in the right place at the right time. You positioned yourself in the right place, and and the time came for you to see the entry. You're in on the move. You get the breakout, right? It's the same thing as like when you go to the bathroom, the stock gave a big move, or you went to go to the kitchen, the stock gave a big move. Well, maybe we should have went to the kitchen before the market opened, right? Like we should have used the bathroom before the stock market opened, before pre-market trading, to get it out of the way. But of course, it's not always that perfect because you could be trading and maybe at a certain point you do have to, whether it's the bathroom or maybe you go to the door to pick up your delivery or something. That's just life. We call that bad luck? Like, hey, the package came to my door, I moved away from the computer screen, the stock gave a big move. Is that bad luck, or is that just something that kind of happened, right? So I'd come back to the screen and say, man, I'm going mad, but it, there is nothing to go mad about. There's going to be another move all the time, even in that type of situation of a bathroom break. The other things that we can control and be more consistent about, we of course have to put that into place. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, so I mean, there's not much moving. We're rambling on. Small green day. We're looking forward to some more action here tomorrow. We're going to be trading the pre-market tomorrow as well. I think I'll go live early at 7 a.m. and we'll stream from 7 a.m. till maybe 10:50, 11 a.m. The open is just a little too slow. Shout out to the people though who go till like 5 p.m. every day. I mean that is it is pretty impressive under these slower conditions. It's very easy to do when the stocks are like back to back and you're somewhat active all day. Of course, you can always turn up the scanners and maybe set alerts, but some people will, kind of sit it through and keep watching just in case. In terms of hyper scalping, even on areas like this, there normally, of course, is trade opportunities. I never like the backside, anyways, but if you're watching these pullbacks here, there's opportunities in these green candles to keep taking the trades over and over if they're holding up. We've had a couple of double bottoms. you know, 22 to 29, 22 to 28, 21, and this one took a little longer here, but, you know, 22 to 20, 22 to 30. This one a little bit better in this area here. 8 cents going up. All right, I'll end the live stream by saying this. Just remember, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. We just got to keep chasing down our greatness. All right, I'm shutting it down. I'm going to go prepare for this meeting that I have. Got to go get some files together, and it's also going to be a 30-minute drive to this meeting or 40-minute drive. Brutal. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Stay safe, stay green. El Pastor. Actually, can RT catch a $3 move on a small cap? A $3 move on a small cap stock? I don't know what my biggest winning trade is. Maybe like $1.60. I don't know. Because we're using because we're, like, you know, typically in like a hot environment, because we're using so much size. Because we're using so much size, we're typically not holding that long, you know? Like even a 50-cent move, it's like usually like a solid trade, right? And then we look for multiple of those throughout the day. If I'm to pull up like an older archive, that's pretty much what it'll look like. Like in 5,000 shares for a breakout, the stock goes up 70 cents, 60 cents, 50 cents. You know, half of that share size is 2,500. And then like, so for like the bigger green days, that's how it would go, right? And then maybe you do size down a bit and you're still catching some good trades, you know, maybe 2,500 shares and you're hitting 40-cent trades, 30-cent trades, and then it adds up versus one trade, $3 a share. But with holding longer and like scaling out of positions, that becomes a little bit more easy to capture. But yeah, you know, so like what we're doing now and like practicing and trying holding longer, what can happen is that you can take on a normal position. You know, let's say you do have the size and the stock gives a reaction that you weren't expecting. And so maybe you're in it to, you know, let's just, you know, put it like an arbitrary stop there. Let's just say 10-cent stop. And then you're looking for 220, 225, right? But the stock gets up to like 216, 218, and then just goes straight up to 270 into a halt up. And you just weren't expecting that at all. In that type of situation where you're already looking to hold longer and let the stock do its thing, you know, you do your analysis, you say, hey, we're over the pre-market highs, you know, short sellers are trapped from that last consolidation. Let's see what this thing does. And, you know, you're, before you know it, it resumes higher, it maybe halts up again. In that type of position, you're just completely in the driver's seat. Maybe you can even set a trailing stop and keep moving that trailing stop higher and seeing what the stock does. Because there are days where we've seen it a bunch of times, right? Like a good amount of times where the front side move just, you know, maybe the stock went from like 5 to 16 or 5 to 13 without really even giving a green candle, right? Just, and so, you know, those are the situations and positions that you can be in where maybe you're just looking for 30 cents and the stock is just, you know, up $3, $4 a share. But yeah, shutting it down. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hands. Take care, stay safe, stay green.